Looking for the best OLED monitors to suit your needs? In this video, we're diving into some of the top options available right now. Before we begin, don't forget to check out the links in the description to find the best deals within your budget. Let's get started. Number 1. ASUS ROG Swift OLED PG27 UCDM. The best OLED gaming monitor we've tested is the ASUS ROG Swift OLED PG27 UCDM. It's a QD OLED that combines a 4K resolution with a 240Hz refresh rate, making it ideal for gamers who want a responsive feel and a detailed image. It has everything you'd expect from a premium OLED gaming monitor, like a near-instantaneous response time for sharp motion. It also takes full advantage of gaming consoles and modern graphics cards because it supports both HDMI and DisplayPort 2.1 bandwidth. It even has remarkable HDR picture quality with vivid colors and bright highlights, which is what you should expect with a QD OLED. One of its advantages is that it has high pixel density, and it doesn't have fringing around text like on larger QD OLEDs. This monitor is part of a group of 27-inch, 4K QD OLEDs that all perform similarly. This particular model is worth getting over other options because it has some extra features, like a USB hub and KVM switch, and it also supports Dolby Vision, which is a nice touch for a gaming monitor. However, you can also check out the Dell Alienware AW2725Q if you want something cheaper, but it doesn't get as bright as the ASUS and lacks DisplayPort 2.1 bandwidth. Number 2. ASUS ROG Strix OLED XG32 UCWMG. If you find that the 27-inch screen of the ASUS ROG Swift OLED PG27 UCDM is too small for your needs, there are plenty of 32-inch OLEDs you can check out. If that's what you're interested in, look into the ASUS ROG Strix OLED XG32 UCWMG. It has a native 4K resolution and a 240Hz refresh rate like the PG27 UCDM. However, an advantage of getting this is that it has a dual mode feature to boost the refresh rate to 480Hz with a lower 1080p resolution. This gives it versatility for playing different types of games. That said, there are some drawbacks in terms of features compared to the PG27 UCDM because it doesn't support Dolby Vision or DisplayPort 2.1 bandwidth. Although its OLED panel doesn't have the same vivid colors as the PG27 UCDM, it's actually a better choice to use in bright rooms. It uses a true black glossy coating that maintains very low black levels in a bright room, so blacks don't look purple like on a QD OLED. Plus, the coating makes images look clear, but the downside is that it has mirror-like reflections. If that bothers you, the LG32 GS95 UEB is a similar option with the same screen specs, but it has a matte coating that's better at absorbing light. However, images aren't as clear with this coating. Number 3. ASUS ROG Strix OLED XG27 ACDNG. If you don't need a 32-inch, 4K monitor like the ASUS ROG Strix OLED XG32 UCWMG, there are plenty of 1440p OLEDs you can get for cheaper, like the ASUS ROG Strix OLED XG27 ACDNG. The lower resolution results in less sharp and detailed images than on the 4K ASUS monitors recommended above. This means it requires less bandwidth from your graphics card to reach high frame rates, as the XG27 ACDNG has a higher 360Hz refresh rate than the 4K ASUS monitors for a smoother feel. Besides the lower resolution, it has picture quality similar to that of the ASUS ROG Swift OLED PG27 UCDM because it's another QD OLED. It comes with all its benefits, including a wide color gamut with vivid colors. However, it doesn't perform well in bright rooms because blacks look purple. If you want a 1440p OLED that's better to use in a well-lit space, check out the LG 27G700A-B. It uses the new RGB tandem OLED panel that gets brighter, but it achieves this by over-brightening the image, so it's not accurate. It also has a lower refresh rate than the XG27 ACDNG, but it's still worth getting if you want a bright OLED. Number 4. LG 27G790A-B. If you're looking for the best OLED gaming monitor and need a high refresh rate, like for competitive esports gaming, there are some 480Hz OLEDs, like the LG 27G790A-B. Although an option like the ASUS ROG Strix OLED XG32 UCWMG has a 480Hz dual mode, this is with a 1080p resolution, whereas the LG has a higher 1440p resolution. This means it combines a smooth and responsive feel with a detailed image. One difference with the ASUS ROG Strix OLED XG27 ACDNG is that this LG isn't a QD OLED, so colors are less vivid. Instead, it has a OLED panel. That means you still get all the benefits of an OLED with perfect blacks against bright highlights and incredibly sharp motion. The black levels don't rise as much in a bright room either, so it's fine to use with some lights around, but it doesn't get bright enough to fight intense glare. It supports HDMI and DisplayPort 2.1 bandwidth, which is great if you have a high-end graphics card that can take advantage of those ports. If you don't need the DisplayPort 2.1 bandwidth, the ASUS ROG Swift OLED PG27 AQDP is a good alternative that you can find for less, but it has a few bugs. Number 5. Dell Alienware AW3425DW. While 27-inch and 32-inch OLEDs offer plenty of screen space for most gamers, there are certain types of games that benefit from extra screen space on the sides. If you play atmospheric or racing games, you should consider an ultra-wide OLED, like the Dell Alienware AW3425DW, which is wider than all the monitors recommended above for a more immersive feel. It's another 240Hz QD OLED, like the ASUS ROG Swift OLED PG27 UCDM, so it offers similar gaming performance with the same sharp motion, fluid feel, and incredible picture quality. However, there are some downsides to getting it. It has a lower 3440 by 1440 resolution than the PG27 CUDM, so images aren't as detailed and sharp, and it has more fringing around letters. Its curved screen and glossy coating also contribute to reflections looking more warped than on a matte monitor, like the LG 27G790A-B. If that would bother you, or you need to use the monitor in a bright room and you don't want the purple tint that QD OLEDs have, check out the LG 34GS95QEB. It's a matte OLED that maintains low black levels in bright rooms, and it also has a 240Hz refresh rate. However, its colors aren't as vivid as on the Dell.